Hey everyone, we've got a little bit of a recovery day for the Bitcoin miners. Yesterday was pretty lackluster. They were mostly flat. A few were green, mostly red. We got to talk about some economic data. We have PPI and CPI that just released. CPI released yesterday and it did change the likelihood of Fed cuts. However, PPI released this morning and it shows a much brighter image. Now here's PPI. This is what we received this morning. And the forecast was a 2.5%. We received a 2.3%. This is very good news. The previous read was revised to a 2.7, so it was revised upwards from 2.6. But this is nice to see it coming down again. Hopefully this time it can actually get to the Fed's 2% target. Now we have a bit of a different story from CPI. And this came out yesterday or Tuesday. And this gave us a 2.7%, which was higher than the forecasted 2.6. The previous read was a 2.4, and we have been trending up lately on CPI. Now there are pretty much no hopes of a rate cut in July, and when we were looking at FedWatch Tool yesterday, the chance of a rate cut in September was much closer to 50-50 because of CPI. But thanks to PPI releasing this morning and showing kind of a different picture in terms of inflation, this did kind of increase the odds again of a rate cut in September, which does look like the most likely outcome. And by the end of the year, 2 rate cuts are most likely, a chance of 3 or a chance of 1, but anything more or less than that seems very unlikely at this point. Now we do have something coming towards the end of the month that will also change the probabilities of rate cuts, hopefully for the better. And this is PCE. This releases towards the end of July. Our last read was 2.3. The read before that was 2.2, so it did tick up from the previous read, but it has been trending down since earlier in the year. If we can see this come in under 2.3%, this shows that there is more progress on inflation, and this does give the Fed much more room to actually cut rates. All right, now I have to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin saw a little bit of a pullback down to 116,000, and institutions doubled down at that price. Institutional buyers are ignoring the latest Bitcoin price drop, adding nearly 11,000 Bitcoin over 2 days. And data from Glassnode shows that while Bitcoin retraced a good chunk of its gains, as that happened, large volume investors jumped in. Institutions didn't flinch as Bitcoin fell by about $7,000. Monday saw one of the largest daily inflows to US spot Bitcoin ETFs in the past 3 months. And I quote, "What stands out though is Tuesday's response. Institutions didn't flinch, they doubled down, adding another 3.4 thousand Bitcoin. Outflows remained 0 across the board. Institutions bought the dip, outflows virtually non-existent." Now this article goes on and talks about $135,000 Bitcoin and how it's very possible. I will leave it down below for you. We also have some more news. Cantor Fitzgerald buys 30,000 Bitcoin for $4 billion. Brandon Lutnick, does that name sound familiar? Let me know in the comments below if you know this name. Now this is all likely written by AI. I mean, look at this AI generated picture. I'll leave it down below for you, but basically it's a massive bank that is getting into Bitcoin. Institutional players are increasingly recognizing the value of Bitcoin as a store of value and a means of diversification. We also have news of an expansion on someone's Bitcoin treasury company, and this is the Smarter Web company expanding their Bitcoin treasury to 1,600 Bitcoin. And they have a whole formula and a whole plan set out, a 10-year plan. And while the Smarter Web company appears overvalued, listen to this. Overall, an investor who reallocates Bitcoin into Smarter Web appears to be overpaying 5.58x for Bitcoin. However, assuming a continued rate of Bitcoin yield delivery, investors would have to just wait 0.09 years or 32 days to earn cumulative Bitcoin equal to their investment today. This is bitcointreasuries.net, and it shows you the largest holders of Bitcoin. It also shows you different Bitcoin treasuries, entities holding Bitcoin. This has increased by 26 in 30 days. We will continue to see more and more companies, states, governments, rich individuals buying Bitcoin, banks buying Bitcoin. This list will continue to grow, and the adoption continues. Now looking at Bitcoin, I'm watching a few things. First off, we're starting to get a little bit of sideways. Still volatile, but a little bit sideways. This range from 115 to 120 or so, we've been kind of bouncing between. I would like to see this continue, a little consolidation, establish a support. I'm also watching this ascending line here. We'll see if we get a reaction by the end of July. Just because Bitcoin touched overbought doesn't mean it has to just keep selling off. Look at right here. I showed you guys this the other day. It's at the same, it went to basically the same level of overbought. We saw a couple days of consolidation, and then it basically gained another $10,000 right there. We can see the same thing, some consolidation. a gain of $10,000 that takes it to about $130,000. Bitcoin can easily do this. It did this last time in just May on its uptrend. We are still in an uptrend. Bitcoin is only roughly 25% from $150,000. I still think this can easily be achieved by the end of the cycle. It's up to the market to follow through on it. Is it going to happen or not? I do think it's key to start taking some profits as we get closer to 150,000. Selling covered calls on the Bitcoin miners, trimming, diversifying into other fields. As things keep heating up, I do think it's a good idea to start considering trimming on these crazy green days. But what do you think? Are you just holding the Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin forever? Are you following it based on the cycle? Are you following it based on something else? In the end, following the traditional cycle, we should have a couple of good months left before it's time to start focusing on reaccumulation again. But what say you? Do you think the cycle is now broken with the involvement of governments and spot Bitcoin ETFs? Or will Bitcoin do what it has always done, and that is follow a 4-year cycle? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.